This tutorial will cover how to change a class section using the Class Section Update application in PeopleSoft. To navigate to the Class Section Update request, you'll first go to Main Menu, then Curriculum Management, then pick Curriculum Management, which will take you to the Class Section Update folder, where you can then select Class Section Update Request. This will bring you to the request page for the Class Section Update Submit form. This form allows you to either add, change, or cancel a class. The default option is the change form, but you can switch forms by selecting the appropriate radio button. If you are changing between forms, you can hit the clear button and then switch your form selection. Once you have selected the change form, you can start your search. The search criteria are slightly different from the add form. For the change form, you will input only the term and class number. However, if you do not know the specific class number, you can use the class number search to look up all the class sections under a subject and/or catalog number. So first we'll select the term, 2211, and then we can look up the class number. We can do an English composition class, 0200, and see what options we have. I'll select this first option, and you can see here that the course offering number is 1, which means it's on the Pitt main campus. Once you've selected both of these, you can hit search. All of the information currently available in PeopleSoft will automatically be filled into the form. You can then make changes to the existing information, including making changes to the instructor information. There are some read-only fields in the change form that will not be editable. These include general education and writing attributes, as you can see here, class number, class and associated class number, so this is class section number and also associated class number. Also course component, seminar, and below the reserved capacities. If you would like to change one of the read-only fields, you can make a comment in the instructions and explanations field, and the registrar's office staff will help you with these changes. At the top of the page, you can add or remove class attributes, but remember that only the first two attributes display automatically. So if there are more attributes, you could select View All to see all of them. General education requirement attributes will not be editable because they are given by the dean's office of a given school. Similar to the Add page, you could add an attribute here, such as study abroad or instructional method. So if we wanted to make this a hybrid class, we could select IDM and the hybrid attribute. The meeting pattern information that is currently entered in PeopleSoft will be displayed automatically, but you can make changes to all information including dates, times, days, facilities, and instructors. If you see the 25 room characteristic below, such as here, you can ignore this because it is used only by the registrar's office staff and will not be editable. There may be multiple meeting patterns listed for a given section. Make sure to look at the View All and also to see if there are multiples. You can see 1 of 1 versus 1 of 2 or 3. If you would like to add another section, such as if we were making this a hybrid course, you could use the plus button to add a new blank row and use View All to see both rows. This one we could add a Web TBA section that would run throughout the term. For a TBA or a Web TBA class, the times will always be 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. if they do not have a specific time listed for the course. You can also leave the days blank if there are no days listed for the course. You can make changes as well to the existing meeting pattern information. For example, if we wanted to change this from a 4 to 5:15 Tuesday, Thursday to a 4 to 5:15 Monday, Wednesday, we could use the standard meeting pattern, select Monday, Wednesday, and you can see here that the Monday and Wednesday days were automatically updated. Here you can also add extra room characteristics or remove any room characteristics other than the 25 attribute. In the Enrollment Control tab, you can update the room capacity, and here you can also see if any students are currently enrolled. If there are no students enrolled, the total will be 0. You can also add or drop consent, department consent, which will cause students to have to register with a permission number, or drop consent, which will not allow them to drop without a permission number. Another feature we have built in is related to the room capacity. So for an example, I'll put in a facility ID. We'll pick a cathedral room. And you can see here that the capacity is 39. I'll go down to the requested and enrollment capacities and change it to 40. Now when I try to submit this request, you'll see that an error will occur. This is because the enrollment capacity is larger than the room will allow. This feature is going to be used to avoid over-enrolling our rooms. You can hit OK and switch the capacity to fit the room size, and then you can submit without an error. Lastly, there is the reserve capacities. Here you can see that there are two different reserve capacities. You can use View All or the toggle to go between them. The reserve capacities are not editable. If you would like to make a change, please use the instruction and explanation box in order to let our registrar's office staff know what the change should be. If you have anything else to add to the instructions and explanations, you can do this here, such as letting the registrar's office staff know of the changes that you have made, adding web section, or adding web meeting pattern. Then, if all information has been updated appropriately, you can submit your request. You will get your request number and a message saying you have successfully submitted your class section update. You can hit OK and continue making more updates.